the Supreme Court recently failed to act on a law that Texas passed, which effectively bans a woman from getting an abortion after she is 6 weeks pregnant. And then it further gives people the right to bring civil proceedings against anyone who helps with an abortion. One has to ask the question, what are they doing? To the outsider without context, it looks as if though they are simply trying to control and dictate what a woman can do with her body. You see, this is about more than your freedom to choose what you can do with your body. This wide sweeping passing of these laws is about survival. You see, it may seem like in Congress and in legislation, they're dismissing the rights of women, but that's not what they're doing. They're looking at statistics and data. And the specific data that they're looking at is the negative population growth of people who classify and identify themselves as white. And to their population, this has been alarming. This data that they've known about for at least the last 20 years has been a wake-up call to them. And they have decided to take matters into their own hands, bypassing our right. So everything that's happening is definitely a result of them waking up to the reality. When we look at the statistics of abortions over the last 20 plus years or so, we can see the reason for the population decline and the reason for the passing of these abortion laws. Some of these statistics can be misleading. They are a little off in their numbers. Looking at these two charts here, we get an interesting picture, maybe even contradictory, because they say different things. In one slide, it says that blacks get more abortions than white, and in the other, it says the reverse. So the discrepancy may be over who gets more, but one fact remains. White women get a lot of abortions. Before we go any further, let me explain. What you see here, this family, this is what is needed for positive population growth. A loving family of a mother, a father, and a child. This is what is needed for their population to grow. And to be quite honest, this is truly common sense. It's not deep or anything like that. However, with the passing of Roe vs. Wade, we're going to look at the number of abortions in the white family went up tremendously, and that caused a ripple effect in their population growth. Not taking into consideration other. One of the biggest factors contributing to the negative population growth worldwide is the hyper-industrialization of society. Whereas in an agricultural society, the more children you have, the better off you are. In an industrial capitalist society, the more children you have, the more mouths you have to feed, and the harder you have to work. You see, farming is real work. It's very, very intense. And when your family's doing it, it's free. With a bigger family, you can produce more and you can make more. That makes sense. However, with industrialization, the dynamics change intensely. However, in order to make it in this new industrial world that was being created over 100 years ago, you got a job and you got a salary. And then the age requirements for work went up. And so children couldn't work, which is a good thing, but it stopped them from bringing in income. And then it became a situation where the bigger your family, now the harder you live. So if we look at those work dynamics that were occurring in the 1930s or 1940s to 1950s, people came to the understanding that it was better to have small families, a man, a wife, and 2.3, maybe one child, so you can have a better life. In this economic arrangement, the white man experienced the most benefit here. He came home, he made more than the black man. The white woman hardly made anything compared to him, and the black woman was his maid. He was on top of the world at this point, but women felt trapped. They felt trapped by the children here. In this situation, a woman would get pregnant and become a mother. And then it's a natural tendency for a woman to want to devote all of her time to the development of her child. And so as this is occurring, as this is taking place, career becomes secondary. Many times it's very normal, very natural for a woman to give up her career for her family. And this is what happened a lot. You have a lot of women who gave up their career and focused on being a mother, but that left them at the mercy of the man. They had economic insecurity and had to deal with whatever he brought home out of fear. Then came the women's rights movement's power and passing of Roe Vs Wade. This changed. Then, in steps, Roe Vs Wade. Women demanding that they have the right to have an abortion so that they can have economic security with their life. After that happened, the following slides and information is taken from this website from the CDC, which tracked abortion from 1980 till today, 1979 actually. Now let's make it make sense. In 1981, there were 1,300,760 legal abortions. This says, as in previous years, women obtaining abortions were white, 70% white, under 25. In 1984, there were 1,333,524. In 1985, there was 1,328,570, and they tended to be white. The way things are worded here is interesting. Let's look at this. It says that the abortion ratios were higher among women of black and other minorities, but women undergoing abortion tended to be white and unmarried. In 1986 and 87, almost two-thirds of women obtaining abortions were white. If 1,300,000 abortions occurred each year, 800,000 per year aborted, 1.6 million white children were aborted. These are the statistics from 1988. 1988, there were 1,371,285 legal abortions. 1988, the women were predominantly less than 25 years of age, white, and unmarried. So this is what we're looking at. These are the statistics that they were facing. In looking at the statistics, by 1990, 1,400,000 people got abortions. We can see that it was consistent. Each year, 75% of them were white women. And so each year, 800,000 white women were getting abortions. And over that 10-year, 11-year period, over 8 million people were aborted. And so in 1991, they got a little bit more complex, measuring different years, but it still ended up being 831,000. By 1996, the total number of abortions decreased by at least 100,000, only 1.2 million. However, white women still accounted for the larger portion. In the year 2000, the amount of legally reported abortions dropped to over 800,000 total, and then they began to get a hold of things. By the year 2015, the country overall had significantly less abortions, with 600,000, give or take, with over half of them being still white women. As time has gone on, less abortions have taken place, But there has been at least 12 million European Americans aborted since 1970. And numbers can be boring, but these type of numbers are predictive. They are showing what's happening in the population and to the population. And as a result, they are taking steps to curb this trend. They know now without a shadow of a doubt that they have to take measures to curb this trend. So they're passing these abortion laws without consent so that they can get ahead of this and stop what is occurring. They are doing everything in their power. The people in power are doing everything in their power to curb this, to create families again. So, protest, march, rally, this is not going to help. This is why the Supreme Court sat back and didn't do anything. Because this is bigger than what you feel. They understand everybody's in alignment. They need to maintain their population. They can only do this by stopping the abortions. And we all fall in line with that. So we all know that knowledge is power. Just understand what's going on. This is just one limitation to be transcended. One understanding